Today is about Workspace Hub. I'm not going to sell it to you, even though I'm a technical marketing manager, therefore I work in marketing, and therefore people say you're a liar. That's not true, that's a lie, it's fake news. It's actually, I call it an in-depth exploration skill. Right? It's an in-depth exploration because that's what I do. I was playing with the Workspace Hub for the last 3 years, and I really wanted to understand what is it, how does it work, if you get one, whether to, for a trial or at a customer site, how does it work? If it doesn't work, what to do, right? So it gives you a better understanding of what it is, what it can do, what it can do, and all that. So it's more of a technical session. There will be some IoT, but not much. So Alex got it wrong. So in-depth exploration, first of all, for those who don't know me, even though I have a Swedish name, I'm really Dutch, so this is my home country. I'm married with my wife Natalie. This year is our anniversary, 5 years. I almost have 2 daughters, as in one is still in my wife's belly, so that's September-ish, GA date. Then I'll be living with 3 women, so that's going to be interesting. I'm not sure how that will work out. Even though I fitness and running, obstacle running, mountain biking, snowboarding, I still have this belly as well. So we're pregnant together. That's how it's called, I guess. And as said, I work for Citrix. Officially, I'm a product marketing manager, technical marketing manager. I can choose my own name, but I'm not sure what to choose. I'm a Citrix technology advocate. So that's, let's say, CTP light or CTP wannabe. I don't know. I don't want to be CTP. There are more here. Great. I used to run the Dutch Citrix user group to the moment I joined Citrix, and I decided it would be good to leave the user group. But I mean, I try to be there every event. Same goes for E2E. If I can attend, I will. I founded another community together with Jits, who was in the room but left, and that's around workspace IoT. So we want to see how IoT can actually be used in the workspace in the area where we guys are working. That's ongoing. So not for today. Agenda for today is let me first tell you why workspace. What's the backstory? What's the history? And then I'll go into the features. How does it work? How doesn't it work? Etc. So first of all, it all started Synergy 2015. I remember it still very vividly. On stage, Mark Templeton, Chris Fleck, they go into a meeting room, whatever. They bring their phone, and ta-da! There is the Workspace Hub. They introduced this great device, a physical device, really interesting. It had VGA, HDMI, actually female and male. They never got it to market, but it was interesting. You just slip it, whatever. Dual Wi-Fi, dual Bluetooth, really cool technology. Then again, Citrix, software company. So I think 6 months later, we're using this Asus or Google Nexus player. So it just runs an Android application. So we can still test, develop at customers and see where do you want to use it for? What resonates, what works, what doesn't. Then 2016, so 1 year later, Synergy, we announced the Citrix H6 Ready Pi. So that's this one. We partnered with ViewSonic, and basically this is a really cheap, low-cost thin client. That's what it is, right? Main goal for us was get total cost of ownership down. It's not the thin client for everyone by far. It's choice, right? So 2016, we move into 2017. Basically, biggest changes. We move from OS, from ThinLink to Strata Desk. Much better software to run, much better software to manage. It's really actually more than 2 people. That's good as well. We added actually these guys, NQPD. They make the green devices. This is really important for us locally because you can actually buy those here. ViewSonic, I tried for a year. They never wanted to ship it to me. This one I actually can get. They actually hand it out for free if you're nice. Support for Bravada, that's cool. Unfortunately, we let go of them. So I'm still sad about that, but that's just the way it is. Then, moving forward this year, 2018 is really where I am talking to you today because we basically rebranded it. That's something we tend to do on occasion. It's now a Citrix Ready Workspace Hub. Now, what's really cool is it's still the same thin client. We added dual monitor, Skype for Business. That's all things you need to have in a thin client. Otherwise, why use it in an enterprise? Citrix casting is the cool stuff. That's what makes this way different than any client, thin client, whatever. It's what sets it apart. So First question I got when we talked about this HTX Ready Pi. It's $100. That's a cheap thin client, right? Instead of paying $3 for $100 or more, it's $100. First thing the customers ask me, yeah, but the Raspberry Pi is only $35. Why is it so expensive? All right, so let me explain. First of all, you're getting a case. There's a piece of plastic around it. There is a computer in there, so it's a Raspberry Pi 3 Model B. These are the specs. So interestingly, it has a dedicated chip for H.264 encode and decode. All right. That means you can run the H.264 encoder, and he can decode it on hardware. So therefore, you will get the best experience by far, not using thin wire, but H.264. So remember that, right? It can do 60 frames, no 90, so not really suited for virtual memory yet. Ethernet, Wi-Fi, etc. Now, early this year, Raspberry announced the Model B Plus. It's not in there yet. So both NQT and ViewSonic, none of them supplies it with the B Plus. Reason is, well, new factory line, completely new OS, not going to happen. It is interesting though, not because it's faster, because it's fast enough. Those two. For one, not that Ethernet is faster. For your H6 session, you don't need gigabit. What's interesting is power over Ethernet. So now you need to power it over USB, so that's another power plug. You will be able to power it over Ethernet, so that's interesting. Second thing is Wi-Fi. This one only supports 2.4 gigahertz, no 5. That's a shame, because a lot of enterprises run in 5 gigahertz. Looking at Citrix, our main building in Amsterdam, we are close to the airport, we are in a shared tenant building. 2.4 is just full, it's hell. Or these devices can only do 2.4. So if you run on a 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi, that's not going to happen. That's not going to work. So part of the $99-ish is the computer. You get some storage, fine. You never need it. You don't access it. It's subject to change. And you get a power adapter. So that makes up the $99-ish. Another key aspect here is you don't have to assemble it, right? They have probably a lot of children who do it for them, or adults, I don't know. $99-ish, you get the device done. Good. So in theory, you could build it on your own, but why? Why would you? So another part of this $99 is software, right? So sure, it runs on Linux, that's what it does. That's provided by Stratadesk. Stratadesk provides us with no-touch OS. So they supply the Linux, they harden it, they make it manageable, they all basically do all the hard work, right? So that's good. It's just an OS running. They do other OSs as well, it's fine. Citrix adds some magic by porting the receiver. It's just a Linux receiver, but ported to the right processor. It doesn't have an x86, it's an ARM processor, and we optimize it for HTX. So specifically for Raspberry Pi, it is optimized. So I don't think you can just install any normal Raspberry Pi with Linux and get the same results. It's slightly different. Same goes for Skype support. RTME, Real-Time Media Engine, right? So the HTX Real-Time Optimization Pack. Something in marketing, someone should change that. So same thing, it's already available for Linux. All we had to do is port it to the right processor. Keep that in mind, because since it depends on certain libraries, not everything is available. Yes, there is an RTME. It's not on par with Linux. We added Citrix casting. That's the magic, and I will show you. I hope. In my defense, this is attempt number 3. First 2 failed. So I hope the demo gods today are with me and it actually worked for a day. Would be nice. These are unique features for the Workspace Hub, and therefore for the Raspberry Pi. And we've been getting a lot of questions from all the other thin client vendors. When can we get it? All I know is they're up for the dialogue. That hasn't happened just yet. Last thing is there is some Azure IoT in there. That's more future reference, more future stuff, but we will do cool stuff with it. One of the things is triggering whenever you connect or disconnect, and that's already in there. And I will show you. So, a demo. Alex explicitly told me, do not do a live demo. So therefore I do. So there are what's interesting now, with Citrix casting, we have 2 modes of operation. It's either screencasting or session rolling. 2 complete different things, and we both name them Citrix casting. Right? So it's the same umbrella. There are also 2 ways to trigger it, either using QR code or proximity. I will be showing you, hopefully, screencasting using a QR code. You can mix and match those, all right? I will not be showing session roaming, but there's an arrow. I will explain it in a slide. So, wait. Demo. Can we all pray? Everyone had a beer with the gods? Good. What I have here. Oh yeah, it's good. So here is a green and computing, or ViewSonic. I'm not having any preferences here. HDX Citrix Workspace Hub. Right, so it's connected through HDMI, and that goes into my laptop. Cool device. Borrowed it from a colleague. William, where are you? I don't know. He's not here. Thank you. Thank you for borrowing this device. If you boot up your Workspace Hub, it shows a web page, all plural. General problem, try connecting again. See, that's what happens. So, it just shows a web page, one or more. Depending on where you position it, you will change it, and you can change it. So, if you're on places in a conference room, you will probably show a generic web page saying, you know, if you want to connect to this environment, please use this Wi-Fi, this is the password, and here are the instructions. If you're going to use this as a thin client replacement or for hot desking, you will probably show something else, and that's storefront. And I lost my mouse. Good. So what would normally happen while I tried to fix this? You didn't drink enough beer. That's good. Let's just say I am a doctor, right? I am a doctor providing care to patients. And actually there's someone who has a drinking problem. So Sasha is here, he's coming to doctor, sir, I've got a problem. All right, that makes sense, you're attended E2E. So I have my VDI session running here, right? It failed, by the way, again. So I have my VDI session running here with EMR open, Sasha's patient record is all there. And what I want to do is, I'm going to walk up to Sasha, he's lying in the bed, had a really bad night. Yeah, that's what happens if you go with Alex. So I got a EMR open here, patient record of Alex. I'm going to open it and show it on the big screen, right? Use full keyboard mouse, so full-blown screen. So all I have to do is, in my receiver, is scan the QR code. There's a QR code. Whenever I scan that, it just said, I'm open. Okay, I'm going to cast my screen to you. What happens is, that content is moved from this device into the big screen. So, why do I call it casting? Well, basically because we do the same thing as, let's say, Chromecast. If I have a phone, I have a picture, want to show it to the family, look, this is how nice my holiday in South Africa was, I'm going to cast it on the TV. So, casting. Same principle here. As you can see, the receiver still has an H6 session running. He is the one who has the session. Workspace Hub just shows it. He does say, I'm occupied, no one else can use it. All right, so let's get screencasting with QR code. Yes?
Connection from your mobile device, maybe that's Bluetooth, or what does it do? Does it need to be the same?
That's a really good question.
Alone, or?
I will pay those 10 euros later. So I'll get back to it. Okay. One slide in. So whenever he's done casting, it will disconnect it, everything goes back to normal. So, in detail, how does it work? What do we need? Protocols, network, etc. So, QR code is interesting. It just contains the IP address and some other stuff, like the port, versions, etc. So, how does this device know to connect with this one? Well, there's an IP address in there. So I guess that already explains, it uses the network. So in detail, what happens is, on my mobile device, phone, tablet, whatever, I'm running a Citrix session, HGX, so 4094, one of the default ports, I then scan the QR code, and what happens is, to that IP address that I just saw, I'm going to do a web post saying, here I'm coming, and actually add some data in there. Right? So this is just a plain JSON file, where it's this data is coming, and that actually seems to be encoded. Turns out it is encoded, base 64. If we translate this back with base 64, it says data. Completely useless, I have no idea why. So what we're doing is basically saying the Workspace Hub, hey, I'm coming. There's a session coming. Next, the Workspace Hub will then trigger whatever we configure. So Azure IoT, whatever IoT platform you have, it now says, you know what, someone is going to connect to me to this specific device, so we can do workspace automation, right? For instance, if you connect to this device, I'm going to set your default printer here. Or if I connect to this device, I'm going to put a message on Slack saying, Ingmar just sat down in the 5th floor in the Citrix Amsterdam office. If you need him, you know where to find him, right? So IoT stuff. Then, very easy. This device over the network, so port 1494, not configurable, just the way it is, it will set up a video stream. So this device sends it into the Workspace Hub, video, voila. It acts as a trackpad, so do you know you need another port. If you disconnect, very easy, well, unavailable, disconnect, same thing, all right? What's important here? The key things to remember with screencasting. The Workspace Hub does not run receiver at all, right? It does not run the session. Your mobile device does. He's the one who has the Citrix session running. Therefore, you do not have dual monitor, you do not have an optimized Skype session. Do use the full H.264 stream. So no selective, no adaptive. It's all in the works, it's coming. But today, unless you say use H.264 for the entire screen, it's not going to work, okay? If it doesn't work, you want to check it, please use a remote display analyzer. You can see if it's set, and if it isn't, in session you can change it. So it's awesome. Pay the money and it's great. So the post to web service is optional, but it's cool because you can do automation. And the last one is really important. You saw it as an HTTP post, right? It runs on port 5555, 5 times 5. But it's HTTP, unencrypted whatsoever. You might want to change this to HTTPS, so it's secure, because everyone on the network can sniff that. And I'll tell you why that's more important than just this data stream. Because session roaming is a different concept. Session roaming. All right, I'm using proximity now in this demo. Again, we're seeing the same Workspace Hub. It says, hey, you know what, I'm available, I'm an open work session. I come in with my phone. And he says, well, cool, you're available, I need somewhere to sit, right? So there's a hot desk, Citrix Amsterdam, we have hot desk, just screen, that's it, keyboard, mouse, nothing else. So I come in, I sit down, and I'm already logged into my phone because I have a session running. Not so much a session, but I'm authenticated, right? He knows I'm Ingmar, he knows my password, okay. Whenever I get close, all it does is says, you know what, here's my token. I am authenticated, I'll give you my token. Right? What then happens is, Workspace Hub, with his receiver, sets up the session, and it says, all right, I'm no longer available. No one else can use me. So you can immediately see the difference. My phone is not draining from battery because all it had to do is send the token, that's it. And he is running the session. That's benefits. It says, hey, I'm occupied, so whenever I say, you know what, I'm ready to go for lunch, or perhaps stepping away for lunch. I'm stepping away for a beer, you never know. Then same thing, it says, you know, I'll take my session with me, you're done, open again, very easy. So imagine you being someone who works in the office, all you have to do is bring your phone, which we all do, sit down, ta-da, there's your session. You walk back to go for lunch, bio break, whatever, and your session is no longer visible on that screen. That's very easy. You don't have to log in with your username and password, think about, did I log my session? Nothing of all that. So Citrix Casting has 2 of those modes. This one is more complex because I did not scan a QR code. I'm actually using something over the air, so therefore proximity. So that's a bit more difficult, so more things to explain. So, iBeacons. Who of you know what an iBeacon is? Good. Bluetooth. Let me start there. All right, Bluetooth is a protocol, we all know it. Bluetooth 4 actually introduced something which we call Bluetooth Low Energy, which is, well, something else than Bluetooth Classic. Just like Bluetooth and Wi-Fi and everything, it lives in the 2.4 gigahertz band, so in the same radio, which is really busy, okay? So, a beacon basically says, shouts out in the air, saying, I'm here, you know, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. That's truly what it does, because as you can see through the channels on the 2.4 gigahertz band, it selects 3 of those channels and just shouts out, right out in the air, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. 3 different channels, different timing. In theory, this works, okay? In theory. Interestingly, every vendor can choose this. They're free to choose whatever they want. So iBeacon is actually Apple's implementation of a Bluetooth beacon. What's interesting in here is you see three things: the proximity, UID, major and minor, and power. So how far are you, right? So UID, major and minor, this seems like, I don't know, random stuff. It isn't, actually. RSSI is interesting because that's received signal strength indicator. So using this, we know what the measured power level is. So in short, how far are you away from my device? So with that, we can determine, are you close? Are you not close? Or are you really far away? So we can get a measurement of how far you are. With that, we can do things like proximity. Interestingly, every vendor can choose again on their own. So you just saw a value. Every chipset vendor can choose what value to give. Between -0, -100, 255, a million, you never know. So stick with Apple, you don't have the problem, the only vendor. Android usually have the same, but it depends on the vendor. Noise is your biggest problem here, because you're in the 2.4 gigahertz band. Bluetooth lives there, all other services live there, Wi-Fi. So the RSSI value, there it is, changes depending on where you are. Are you in a very crowded room? Then it takes a lot of power to actually see the signal. I have to be like this close. I remember Synergy 2015 introducing this stuff. No one at the booth, great demo, you can just do it. 50 people around me, I literally have to stick it next to the device because it was too crowded. All right, so if you're going to use this, do remember this. So in the receiver, you can configure the entry and exit value, meaning when are you close, when are you out of range, okay? So pretty easy, currently it's an RSSI value, therefore I tell you. They've told me that this will be a more user-friendly setting, meaning we'll hide the value. So at least you know the concept, right? So that's what we use as proximity. So that is all Bluetooth. If you disable Bluetooth on the device, ain't gonna work. So, then, same example, how does it work? So there's my phone, I'm authenticated, and whenever I'm getting in close range, should not have done this, yes. It does the same thing. It goes to the same web server, says, hey, here I am, I'm going to connect to you. But what it now does, it says, start a new receiver, here's my ICA file. So this is just a base 64 encrypted ICA file. Hence me asking you change this from 5x5 to a secure port and a SSL certificate. Everyone can snatch that ICA file. If Remco would have been in the room, he probably would have been connected to my VDI session. He perhaps even is because it failed. So, same thing, I'm giving you a post, please connect to this session, here's my token. The iBeacon. UID literally says, I'm a Citrix, I don't know. So, it's an identifier. You know there are one or more Citrix hubs in your neighborhood. If you take the major and the minor, there's some formula, it will tell you what IP address is. So therefore, I know when I'm getting a range, like, you are close by enough for me to connect to. This is your IP address, and I'm gonna do the same magic as I did with QR code. So, same thing again, but Workspace Hub will set up the session, so he is running receiver. He's unavailable, and what you can see is major just changed to 0. So that's the only way you can identify if a Workspace Hub is available or not. Right, the iBeacon just changed. Same thing, it will do the same trigger, didn't fit in the slide. Now the phone will do a query every 5 minutes. Are you available? Are you available? Are you still running, basically? And then, when it goes out of range, it will going to send another message. Please stop using my session. Please disconnect. So it's all basically web-based, right? It's sending HTTP post commands to a web server. So that is free again, major changes, very good. So that's Citrix casting. Yes?
So it's fully automated, you don't have to click anything on that device where you sit down to pick up your session?
As long as your token is valid on your device, yes.
So, but then I assume that you have to be in proximity for an X amount of seconds instead of see your session follow you walking down to the hall or whatever.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, okay.
But that's also why I showed you this. You need to understand those values. So if I'm in, let's say, the Citrix Amsterdam office, like desk, You need short values. You need to be close, because otherwise it's going to connect to one of them, and perhaps even row. That doesn't work. Then again, in a meeting room, hey, you are in this meeting room, I'm now going to connect to this screen. You don't want to be like me, like on the screen, like, finally it's connected. So therefore, change the value depending on the use case and test it out during busy hours and during quiet hours. And that will give you the best result. And your mileage may vary. So, session roaming uses iBeacons or QR codes, whatever you want. So it goes for the other casting. It's Bluetooth, therefore 2.4 gigahertz, therefore this could be a mess. I'm not sure who of you has, I'll get back to you, who of you has seen a Synergy demo of Mark Templeton demonstrating the Citrix X1 mouse? Did he succeed? No, that's because Bluetooth was just full. Does not work, even a mouse does not work, alright? So IP address is in the iBeacon, an ICA file is sent in JSON format, therefore please change it. Because it runs a session, you do have full screen, dual screen, you have all the native capabilities, okay? You had a good question, I guess.
Yeah. The Workspace Hub from Citrix, you can buy it now, but when is the QR scanner coming to the iOS receiver app?
Excellent question. So yes, this one you can buy for quite a while, the computing device. The software is coming out. It should within 90 days. Safe.
Synergy, yeah.
It's a Synergy announcement. Gunnar Berger was made PM, so he just to deliver it at Synergy. So, good question. First release, within the first 90 days, Citrix receiver for Android. All right, that's the first release that's going to happen. iOS is the next one. When? I don't know. I can't make any promises. I hope Q3, perhaps Q4, but it should be soon. Interestingly, this might even come to your Windows or Mac device. All right, so think about that. I've got my screen here, cast it to the big screen, just like you do with Chromecast or AirPlay. Right? Not making any promises here. I'm in marketing, so I can do that. But that's definitely being discussed. So how do you configure it? This is Stratodesk. Basically, you enable Workspace Hub to say, you're now in Workspace Hub. You can configure the URLs that you want to see. So that's the pages you saw, right? By default, it shows a nice picture of the Citrix Rally office. Beautiful. If you really don't like it, and I can imagine because you probably haven't been there, use no BG, then a comma, and then use whatever you want to show. All right. So out of the box, it will show a nice building in Rally. Multiple pages, so you get a carousel with an arrow. So let's say you start a page, storefront, whatever you want to show. QR code will show either normal or in an array. So if you have multiple devices, Ethernet and Wi-Fi, you can use the advanced QR. It's a bit more difficult. I have had someone tell me, if your screen is doing 120 Hertz, it doesn't work. I don't have that, so I don't know. This is where you configure the work mode. So it's either session roaming or screencasting. All right, per device, that's where you configure it. I set it to screencasting. All right, therefore I cannot do session roaming. So you, as an IT guy, need to decide that.
Is that a new setting? Because the first beta was actually both.
Yes. Yeah, unfortunately they changed that. So yeah, new as in this is all pre-Synergy, let's say February, March, so they changed it. Yeah.
That's a shame.
It has to be simple. So I'm with you. So what he asked was, is this new? Because previously you can do both on the same device. That's true. Currently, it's one per device. To make it simple, I personally like to get that back to let the user decide, because users are not stupid. Well, that's the way it is, right? So this is where you configure the connectors. Read the slides. So configure SSL. That's what you need. Okay, then the other important thing is, what's new, is dual monitor. This device has one HDMI. It's for a project, it's for your home theater, whatever you want to use it for. It's Raspberry Pi's default platform. So that's Raspberry Pi 3, HDMI, 180p, etc. There's no second HDMI, therefore only one screen. So there's a limitation. So what we do to fix it is we built what we call the secondary display adapter. I need 3 hands. Secondary display adapter is Raspberry Pi 0, very cheap. Therefore, they sell it fairly cheap. Fairly cheap, all right? It only has one USB. So, how does that work? Again, another primer. I'm here educating you guys on all this stuff. USB, who of you have heard about USB? You all have. So, very easy, you know, your host is the master, the device is the slave. So, master-slave device, pretty similar, you know, that's pretty easy. So, as an example, if I have USB over Ethernet, he's the host, USB or Ethernet is the slave. If I connect the printer, printer is the slave. You know, it's getting all commands from the master. If I have a USB or flash drive, again, computer is the master. He's always the master. Now, what happens if I inject that flash drive in a printer? That's a problem because he's configured as a slave. So is he. It's not going to work, right? They're both a slave. Therefore, we got USB on the go. USB on the go is basically a handshake between the two devices. So they can do the handshake with each other. Who's going to be the master? Is it you or is it me? It's like marriage.
We always do that.
I think she's on YouTube. Ooh. So, very important with this is that USB on the go is a different cable, all right? It's a special cable. Stay here. So, USB on the go is a special cable. Why is that important? Because that's what we use, right? So we inject one cable from Raspberry Pi Zero into the Workspace Hub, and then we're going to do a negotiation that says, all right, I'm no longer a master, I'm a slave, and I present myself as an Ethernet adapter. So now we have a network between those two, just for them. So they have, I don't know, 100 megabits, more than enough for a secondary screen H.264 session. So why is this important? This cable. You will get a certain cable with that. Use it. If you want to replace it with a larger cable, get the right one, because otherwise it's not going to work, and I've tried a lot. So how can you check this? Very easy. There's a backdoor, which you can see in the slides, because 10 minutes I'm not going to make it. Very simple. If you issue the command ls-usb, it will give you an overview of all the USB devices plugged into this device. ifconfig will know this is your network stack. If I inject it, so USB cable is injected, I'd say, so what's happening? D-message. Oh, I just saw a new USB device, it's actually an Ethernet adapter. And then, ta-da, there's a new network adapter, and there you go. So if it doesn't work, you use the wrong cable, whatever, use this. Right? This is an easy way to fix it, or at least troubleshoot it. Same thing, enable it or not. Use hardware rendering. You can disable H.264. You got the same chip. Currently today, if you have a Skype session, so RTME running on a secondary screen, it will fail. All right? You have to disable this. Therefore, I put it on here. Very interesting, important setting. Is it on the left or the right of the main screen? And by the way, if they have different resolutions, how should you align it? So, very basic settings. Things to remember. If you turn it on, so give it power, it should say Citrix. If it doesn't, it doesn't work. Only as a secondary screen, Workspace Hub is always the main screen. You can change it, you can rotate it. Again, H.264 for the entire screen. Now, if you want to troubleshoot things, so either you've got the wrong cable, or you didn't read the manual and actually use the additional power plug, right? Yes, you can power from the Workspace Hub to the secondary display adapter, but it's not enough power, okay? You will see under voltage detected. So, because it has the power HDMI, please use the secondary power plug as well. So, use the right cable. It is unpluggable, so that's cool. You can just, add or remove secondary screen. The Citrix receiver will detect it, so that's all cool. And well, as said, currently today there's an issue with H.264 and RTME. So RTME, I'll just skip that. You'll understand there's RTME, it works, good idea. One thing to say about RTME, by the way, is because we ported the libraries from x86, you're lying, from x86 into ARM processors, we are using different libraries, and today we do not support 1080p webcams. It's only 720p. There are some caveats. So management, let me then stop here. Strata Desk provides central management. It's actually pretty good compared to Tinlinks and others. So you can do everything you want to do with your device. You can configure it. Everything. All the things you never knew you could configure, you can configure it. That's what I dislike about it, because you're getting like 1,000 checkboxes. Which is great if you like it. I dislike it, it's just way too much. Another thing is, it's a virtual appliance. So you need to deploy it in your data center, right? HA, and therefore it adds complexity. Plan B, or Plan A, I would say, Citrix Endpoint Management.
It's also just a Windows application.
Yeah, it's also a Windows application as a service.
Put it in an Azure if you want to.
Yeah, sure. So you can, wherever you want to put it, VM or Linux appliance or software, fine. But you need to have it somewhere. It's a choice. Citrix Endpoint Management, well, you're already managing other devices, why not add this Raspberry Pi or Workspace as one of them? There is a slide in here which explains how it works. Do you know there's, let's say, backdoors, which is great for me if you do a demo, if you prepare this or testing. There's a web page. If you go to the IP address, HTTP, non-secure, it actually shows you the entire configuration. That's great, but you might want to put it to SSL because it's a backdoor. Same goes for secure shell. It's an SSH service, so you can do everything with that. Again, 22, open by default. You make the decision if that's something you want to do. It is really easy if you want to troubleshoot. So, for instance, the dual screen. I'm going to skip all this. This is not even interesting either. Sure, get Platinum or Premium, you'll get it. Tips. Your default password is admin. You don't have to Google that anymore. First time you boot it, there's no icon to click to configure to connect via Wi-Fi, which is annoying because I always use Wi-Fi. So Ctrl-Alt-W opens the Wi-Fi configuration. It's easy. If you do Ctrl-S, it will show you relevant information, meaning, oh, it's not in here. Basically showing this is my IP address, this is my firmware, this debug information. If you think you need it, press it, you'll see it. By default, there's a screensaver, it blanks. Set it to 0, why would you? H264, sure, and again, shut down all those backdoors. In production, you do not want to be that guy who let this hack. If Remco gets in, last time we're going to pitch Remco's hacking skills here, you don't want that. So, keyboard shortcuts, there are a lot of them. In summary, I'm still in time. In summary, yes, it is a replacement for a thin client, it's low cost. It might be for you, it might not be for you or for your customer, it depends. You don't have to use the same device for all your users. Please don't, actually. What I like most about it is Citrix Casting, because it will open up new use cases. It will open up new possibilities. And especially the ability to trigger, right? I'm going to walk to you, Sasha, you sit him down like I had one too many. Open it, trigger it. The doctor is here to treat Sasha. You're good. Everyone, good. And then whenever I'm done, it says, okay, Sasha's good. That's what we can do, so thank you for your time. If you have any questions, I'll be here the entire weekend. Happy to answer any question. Thank you.